Frankincense, tears, and shared scent. Let me tell you a story from the Horn of Africa, from Somalia, a land of white skies, ancient groves, and stories whispered between the wind and the trees. This story is about a man named Idris, a frankincense trader, and the secret life of the trees that give us one of the world's most treasured gifts. Idris was no ordinary trader. Born in a small village near the dry, rugged hills where the frankincense trees grow, he learned from his father how to harvest the precious resin. It's a sticky, fragrant sap that seeps from the bark when the tree is carefully cut. Over time, the sap hardens, forming what people call tears because it looks like the tree is crying. These tears carry the tree scent, its life, and its spirit. Now, Idris was known in his town not just for his skill, but for his sharp mind and ambition. He dreamed big, not just to gather frankincense and sell it quickly, but to hold on to it, to keep it all for himself until the price rose high. You see, in those days, frankincense was traded far and wide, from the deserts of Somalia to the markets of Arabia and beyond. It was sacred, used in ceremonies, weddings, and temples. People believed it brought blessings, peace, and protection. At first, Idris' plan worked. He collected resin from the groves, stored it in his hut, and refused to sell. But something strange began to happen. The trees, those ancient, wise trees, stopped crying. The groves went silent. No more tears fell from their bark. The air lost its usual sweet, spicy scent. The villagers noticed. The bees stopped buzzing near the trees. Even the birds seemed quieter. Why would trees stop giving their precious resin? The people whispered that the trees were sad, maybe even angry. They said the trees shared their tears only when their gifts were returned in kindness, when people respected the balance of taking and giving. In other words, when the resin was used in ways that honored the trees and the community, not hoarded in greed. One day, a wedding was planned in the village, the kind of celebration that brings everyone together with music, dancing, and the smell of food and flowers. The bride's family wanted something special, and they came to Idris. At first, he wanted to keep his resin to sell for more money later. But then he remembered the silence of the groves and the stories his father told about sacred commerce, about how the trees and people depended on each other. So Idris made a choice. He gave a generous gift of frankincense to the wedding. The resin was burned in small charcoal fires, sending up fragrant smoke that wrapped around the guests like a warm blanket. The scent lifted spirits, brought smiles, and reminded everyone of something greater than themselves. And then something magical happened. Back in the groves, the trees began to cry again. Tears of frankincense oozed from the bark, shimmering in the sunlight. Life returned to the air. The bees came back. The birds sang once more. Idris learned that day that the tree's gifts were not just about profit or possession. They were about sharing, about respect, and about reciprocity. When we take something precious from the earth, we owe it back in kindness through care, through community, through honoring the balance. This story reminds us that sacred commerce isn't just about trading goods. It's about relationships between people and nature, and between giving and receiving. Like a dance, each step matters. When we share, the world shares with us in return. So next time you catch a whiff of something sweet and ancient, like frankincense, remember Idris and the silent trees. Remember that every gift holds a promise, and every promise calls for a gift back. And that's the story of frankincense, tears, and shared scent in Somalia. A tale of respect, of balance, and of the invisible threads that connect us all.